Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, hello, hi. My name is Jyotsna and I make a lot of bookish stuff. So, if you like my content, if you would like to swim in the content that I have made, then please do go ahead and do that and then do the usual maybe. But yeah, no compulsion, no obligation. You're here to enjoy and I'm here to tell you about my favorite thing called books. But let's get started with one of my favorite tags that I kind of do on a yearly basis ever since I've been on BookTube, and that's the Media Freak Out tag. I was tagged to do this year by Ben from Doom Antidote. So thank you, Ben, for tagging me. And that being said, let's get right into this tag. No chatter, nothing, just pure business. So I have all my questions written in this trustworthy notebook. Yes, I still use pen and paper, but let's start with my first answer with the first prompt. The first one is the best book you've read so far in 2021, and for me, this has to be Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I absolutely love this book a lot. I do have a separate video, like a review video describing this book and what to expect from it without giving you any spoilers. But if you've not read Piranesi yet, then this is the whole this is your prompt, right? This is your call. This is your calling. Yeah, this is basically a sign basically for you to read it. It basically talks about this man who is in a very very interesting world, and it kind of like joins hands with fantasy and dark academia. So I really like this book a lot. Moving on to the next question, and that's best sequel you've read so far in 2021, and that's NA, not applicable, because I've not read any sequel this year. And I think that's simply because it's just that yeah, like I don't generally read series, and even if I get invested in a series, then I generally ensure I have all the books. But yeah, I don't have anything to answer for this question. The third question is new release that you haven't read but want to. For this one, I do have quite a few answers, but something that I have not read yet out of those new releases would be Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The thing is that I am kind of looking forward to the book because I really, really like Taylor Jenkins Reid. But I'm not sure if, I'm not sure when will I read this, because first thing, it's always on hold, like someone or the other is reading it, and the second thing being that it's not that great as compared to her other two books. So I'm just thinking, but I do want to read it. So yeah, that's that. The fourth question is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and this has to be KK Shailaja's biography. From what I know, it should be kind of announced this year. I'm not sure if it's going to be released, but announced for sure this year. I hope it gets released this year as well, because as per like the start of 2021, it was supposed to be released this year. So basically, who is KK Shailaja, or Shailaja teacher as she's known? She was actually the state health minister of Kerala, and she has been an able administrator, especially dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. As well, before this, she was also, Kerala was also challenged by the Nipah virus, and she made sure that the Nipah virus was contained within a handful of patients, and it did not turn out to be a full-fledged epidemic. So it's a very, very, she's a very able administrator, a very strong woman, and that's why I want to read her biography. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, that's that. The next question is the biggest disappointment of the year, and for me, this has to be Wuthering Heights. I'm very sorry. I'm sorry if you like the book, but Wuthering Heights just sucked big time. Okay, that book gave me a headache. I had to sleep for like 7-8 hours straight after reading the book in order to get over the headache, and I just hated the characters. Like, I really wanted to like the book, but I think this is one of the worst books I've ever read in my life. I'm sorry, Emily Bronte. I am sorry people like this book. I really admire Emily Bronte as a person, as an author, because she did what many women could not do during her time, and I highly, highly respect her for it. But I'm sorry, the book didn't work out for me, the plot didn't work out for me. So yeah, sorry about that. Moving on to the next question, and that is the biggest surprise of the year. And actually, I do have like couple of surprises this year. And the first surprise for me this year was The Liberation of Sita by Volga. Now, there's a history with respect to this book for me, especially because I really liked The Forest of Enchantments by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, and I thought that, okay, you know what, this is like the best rendition of Sita I have read. But then later on, I had this whole debate with quite a few people, including Smriti, Manya, a lot of people that I know, like on a call, and yeah, turns out that I was wrong. I admitted I was wrong. The Liberation of Sita is the best version of Ramayana. Is the best version of Sita I have read, because what Volga does. So I still believe that Forest of Enchantments as a book is an important book when it comes to the Sita genre. But then when it comes to the Liberation of Sita, I feel that it is kind of top notch because it kind of addresses all the issues that the Ramayana has. So what the book does is kind of it brings all the four women in, all the four, I would say, women who've been affected because of the actions of men, especially Sita. I'm forgetting the names now. Yeah, Sita, Shurpanaka, Ahalya, and all. I think Urmila as well. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but yeah, so she gets all of these four people on the center stage, and it's their story. Like, it's like they're discussing amongst each other on what like went wrong and why have the actions of men affected us women. So it is a strong rendition. Again, I'm telling you that do read Forest of Enchantments. It's not like it's bad. It's just that Forest of Enchantments tends to be more like it tries to stick to the Ramayana, so it tries to stick to the Sita that we see in the Ramayana, but what Volga does is something very different altogether. So yeah, Volga's book is a commentary and not a retelling. Okay, but the other books that I've seen have always been a retelling and not a commentary. I hope that made sense. But anyway, moving on to my second book, and this is a book for which I'm yet to put out a review, but this is Unsettled Ground by Claire Fuller. So this is currently shortlisted for the Women's Prize 2021, and I had zero expectations from the book, to be honest. I was like, yeah, okay, it's a book, like, okay, I'm only reading it because it's there in the shortlist. But turns out that it's a nice gem. It's a very, very nice book. I like it. I actually like it because of certain reasons that I will explain in a future review video. But if you're like impatient and do not want to like wait for my review video, then let me just tell you, go ahead and read it. It's as simple as that. But it's surprising indeed. It's a nice piece of contemporary fiction set in rural England, which deals with poverty. So yeah, that's that. So these are my two surprises of the year. The next question is favorite new author, a debut or new to you. So basically for me, this has to be, everybody knows this by now. I think everybody who's on Clubhouse knows this by now, and it is Barbara Demick. Yes, Barbara Demick. I got introduced to Barbara Demick through the BookTube Prize this year when I read her book Eat the Buddha, and this is the political nonfiction that I want to read in my life. Okay, this is the political nonfiction that I have to consume, and ever since I've read a book, I've read more books that kind of borderline on political nonfiction, or I would say not historical nonfiction, like more like geopolitical nonfiction as well. And plus I've ordered quite a few books on political nonfiction as well. So this is a very important or a very interesting area for me that I tend to explore. So Barbara Demick, it has to be, and I promise I'm going to read all the books by her, whatever is available. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to the next one, and the eighth one is my newest fictional crush. And my newest fictional crush, now it's actually a woman. Okay, my newest fictional crush is a woman, and she is Parveen Mistry from the Parveen Mistry series by Sujata Massey. I kind of read the first book in the series, that is A Murder on Malabar Hill, or The Widows of Malabar Hill, recently. and I fell in love with her. And it's basically that she is supposed to be like India's first woman lawyer, and the book is set in 1920s Bombay. It's inspired also by real life women who have been, who have studied at Oxford and stuff like that. I really admire Parveen Mystery, especially, and if I tell you why, it's going to be a bit spoilery, so I do go ahead and encourage you to read the books here. Please do that. Do yourself a favor, read these books. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Now, moving on to the next one, and that is my newest favorite character. My newest favorite character is actually again a woman, and she is Chetna Kritha Malik from Hangwoman by K.R. Meera. And basically, Hangwoman is about this family whose like ancestral profession is hanging people. Okay, people who are sentenced to the gallows. These people or the family, someone in the family has to take up the profession and go ahead and do the deed, basically. And it's kind of like for the first time in the family that they've had a hangwoman technically, and how this 19-20-year-old girl is now going to be hanging one of the most terrible criminals basically in India, in the book. And in order to see her resilience, because it's like it's kind of a coming of age story plus a story on patriarchy and sexism that she faces in the outside world, because she's 19, she's just 20, and she's going to be hanging someone in the gallows. So it's a very, very nice read. I really admire K.R. Meera. K.R. Meera is an amazing author, of course. So yeah, I appreciate the book a lot. I love this character a lot, and I mean, love Chetna Kritha Malik. So yeah, that's that. Now, let's go to the next one, and that is the book that made you cry. Okay, fine. So there are two books that made me cry this year, and when I say cry, it means like cry. Okay, it when I say cry, it does not mean that, oh no, like I'm just feeling sad and like tears are rolling out of my eyes a bit. No, that's not sad, or that's not cry. Cry for me is like, oh my goodness, I want to cry a lot, and then I actually cry a lot. Yeah, basically. And for me, the two books only. The first one is Stacey Jones and the Sex by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think reading this on audio really affected me a lot, especially when you reach the climax, and I was like, oh my god, oh no, I want to cry a lot. Yeah, so that happened to me. And the next one, the next book here is The Song of Achilles. Again, when you reach the climax, I'm like, oh no, oh my god, I want to cry a lot. Oh my god, someone save me. So these are the two books that I actually cried a lot on. And I think most of you might have read this already, but if you've not, go ahead, read these two books. But let me just like slip in here, like the book that has made me cry the most in my lifetime has been A Little Life. Thank you so much. Anyway, moving on to the next question. It is the book that made you happy. So a lot of books have made me happy, but something that's like made me feel mushy or very happy and very like, cheerful at the end of it has been Dopehery by Pankaj Kapoor. So Pankaj Kapoor is basically, if you don't know, like a famous film director, producer in Bollywood, and he basically wrote this book in Hindi, which was then translated to English by a translator whose name I actually forget. Oh no, I still cannot recollect him. Anyway, so basically the book is about Amma B, who is this old woman, who is this old lonely woman who stays in this huge haveli or bungalow in Lucknow, and it kind of like talks about how she kind of goes through her daily life, and how in order to hide her loneliness she's like pretty much bitter, and it made me happy. Okay, it's a book that really made me happy, and like a lot of like sunshine and stuff like that. So yeah, that's that. Now the next question is the most beautiful book that you've bought this year. Okay, so let me pick it up. The most beautiful book that I've bought this year has been, one sec, let me pick it up. Where is it? Okay, cool. It's this one. It's this beautiful, huge, chunky book, which is The Mirror and the Light by Hilary Mantel. And yeah, so basically last year I read Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies. And I read them on audio actually, I think, and I felt like on audio and ebook, both of them, because you need it for those books. But then this book, then I bought this book because I love both of them, and now I'm going to read this, and it's a beautiful cover. So I really, really like this cover a lot. I think it's like very I don't know, like it's very nice. It's very beautiful and it's like painting worthy as well. So I think I'll paint this as well. So yeah, that's that. And finally, this is the last question. We are like done with I think 14-15 minutes of the video by now. And this is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Now the point is that the last year I did this, I didn't end up reading any of the books that I mentioned. Yeah, I know, right. So this year I'm not going to be mentioning any books specifically, because then it'll just jinx the whole thing. Then I'll be not even reading those books this year. So this is what I have decided to do. Open your ears and listen. This is what I've decided to do. I have decided that I want to read more non-fiction this year. So I'll try my hand at mainly political non-fiction. And when I say political non-fiction, I would say more like partition literature, or literature, or like non-fiction books about countries that I have little knowledge about. For example, I have been reading Say Nothing by Patrick Radden Keefe, which I've been meaning to read since a very long time, but I'm finally reading about the Irish Troubles and the whole political issue in Northern Ireland. And earlier this year, like I said, Barbara Demick, Eat the Buddha. So I was also like exposed, or I was like enlightened about the Chinese invasion of Tibet as well. Chinese occupation of Tibet as well, and that was also very interesting, and I would like to learn more about the topic. And also I'm exploring a lot of partition literature. So anything that's non-fiction and political on my shelf somewhere I can get, then those are the books that I'm actually planning to read to enlighten myself. Of course, I'm not going to be like bombarding myself with all of these books. I'm going to be taking my own sweet time, giving into impulses while reading the book. So yeah, we are done like with a good 16-17 minutes talking. Thank you so much for watching the video till the very end, and if you've reached here, please go ahead and give me, I don't know, what emoji do you want to put? It's the mid-year book freak out tag. Oh, give me a watch. Give me like a wristwatch emoji maybe, because it's like mid-year. Or like give me like that 12 o'clock emoji. You know, the 12 o'clock was like mid-year. You can have like midnight, mid-year. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, cool. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you on my weekly reads. Bye.